Hello everyone, welcome to episode 30 of this awesome, super amazing Osu Let's Play series. In the last episode, I talked about hidden and some good to knows for getting into the mod. And in this episode, I sort of want to do the same thing, but for hard rock. So yes, let's jump right into it. But before we do that, I want to mention that I live stream every single day over at twitch.tv/DigitalHypno. That will be linked in the description, but if you want to hang out with me or watch me play this game live, anything like that, I would highly appreciate it if you stopped by and said hello. And bonus points, if you tell me that you came from this Let's Play series, I will be very happy to see you there. So yes, also as usual, a couple shout outs to some videos of mine. So one is hopefully you've seen it by now, but OCPHD is this video where I sort of broke down all the basic skills in the game and how they tie into each other. And towards the end of the video, I touched on the different basic mods, so hidden, hard rock, double time, and easy. And for the next few episodes of this Let's Play series, I'll be trying to go into them one at a time and sort of talk more anecdotally about my own experiences with the mod and things that I think you should really be careful about. But if you want a much more structured version of these explanations, then probably check out that video, get a good baseline understanding, and yeah, let's get started. So this is the first map that I want to show you guys. Let me switch to sorting by artist. So yeah, maps that I'm going to show in this episode are ones that I think are pretty solid for getting into hard rock. They have pretty simple rhythm, and I think that's what's really important. Basic understanding of hard rock is that when you turn it on, it changes all the difficulty settings here. So it's like, let's make the map harder by just cranking up all the difficulty settings. So the circle size gets smaller, approach rate gets faster, overall difficulty increases, which makes it harder to get accuracy, and HP, which means that your health will drain faster as well. And the circle size increase is really what makes the star rating go up, and pretty much none of the other things there affect this star rating. So yes, let's see. So important things to note about what exactly, so how to get into hard rock is, I would say the three things that really get impacted is circle size, right, and approach rate and accuracy. And so, this is mostly just a review of OCPHD. So I would say try to focus on each of those skills sort of one by one separately, and try to play like very basic stuff to get used to, AR10 and like small circle size and OD10 separately. I think isolating those skills is very key. So hard rock is definitely one of the most overwhelming mods to get into, in my opinion, just sort of for that reason, because you have so much increasing at once. And I think using maps that are somewhat simple rhythm and conventional is really important. Like basic, I think something usually in the 4-star range is good for training hard rock. Yeah, it'll get you used to just sort of how it feels to aiming to smaller circles with hard rock. Okay, so personally, I would say probably what people struggle with the most with hard rock is the approach rate, the AR10. And for that, I would suggest... Okay, well, for one, I want to shout out also that over at OC University, we are doing top player interviews all about high AR. So check those out. I'll have OC University's links over in the description. But I think getting used to like very simple types of patterns and just like getting a feel for what AR10 feels like, I guess. And also playing songs that is very important. Okay, actually, so personally when I started getting into hard rock / hidden hard rock, I think I saw some Reddit comment a long time ago, and it mentioned that to get into hidden hard rock, basically like take songs that you already know and that you've already gotten pretty comfortable full combos on, and just turn on well, in the comment was saying hidden hard rock, but hard rock only works as well. And basically like play those maps and just play them until you get a score that's somewhat satisfactory for you, and then put it in a collection, and then every now and then come back to that map. Actually, okay, before I play this map, I want to look for a couple of those maps that I played. I think Miro. There's some Miro map. Classic. Let's see. It should be silver. That's rank. Yeah, this one. So I have some old scores that I would just play it until I got somewhat comfortable accuracy. I'm not going to link these maps in the description, but if you really want them, you can go look for them. Black Bullet, there's another one. This is also... Oh, yeah, this one was hard rock only. Okay, so those are double time. Yeah, but this one I used to play a lot as well. You just like play it over and over again, try to get used to the environment of hard rock, basically. And then once you feel like you've gotten a score that's somewhat comfortable for you, or that's like satisfactory, right? Then put it in a collection, and then you can come back to it later on. There's another one, baby. What? Baby sweet. Love. Right? Don't. Oh yeah, there we go. This one. I remember playing this map a lot. This is mid 2016, and so I just play this over and over again. Eventually, I came back to it a couple years later and got an SS, but yeah, you can see I just like play this map over and over again. It's like TV size, which is like 90 seconds. TV size is basically like the length of the song that is used in like the anime opening. Usually, it's like cut version, only 90 seconds. But yes. Anyway, I would probably recommend doing something like that. Coming back to maps over and over again and try to get comfortable, just sort of with the map in general. As with most things, songs that you enjoy, very important aspect of improving. And there's also an aspect, I guess this is mostly regarding high AR in particular. There's this aspect of like sort of knowing the song and feeling out the song and knowing when to expect a certain rhythm. I think is really important. And that's touched on a lot in some of the OSU University interviews. So check out all of those if you're really interested, specifically in the high AR aspect of AR10, or of hard rock, right? AR10 aspect. So other things, okay, so overall difficulty and the accuracy aspect. I think a common question that some people might have is like, what unstable rate should I be getting in order to like start playing hard rock? And I think there's that answer to that is kind of tricky. If you really want a rule of thumb, then I think if you are getting like, okay, on like conventional maps, you know, simple rhythm type stuff, if you're getting around like 140, 130, maybe 120-ish, like in the low 100s, basically, I think is a good starting point. I also keep hitting late. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, I want to touch on hitting late, and like deciding whether or not you have an accuracy issue or a reading issue, because if the approach rate is too fast for you, then you are just going to end up hitting late on everything, right? And okay, important thing to understand about this game, pretty much like no matter what skill it is, if you are bad at it, it's going to manifest as an accuracy issue. So if you can't read the AR, like if you can't read properly, then you're going to drop accuracy. If the pattern is too fast for you, you're going to drop accuracy. Like if you run out of stamina, you're going to drop accuracy. Pretty much anything. And also if your like raw accuracy ability is bad, then obviously you're also going to drop accuracy. So it's sometimes very hard to diagnose. And what I would say is try to isolate the factors. So if you play the same map on AR9 or AR 9.5 or something, and you can edit the map in the editor to do that, you just go to the app settings and change it to some lower AR. Yeah, if you change the AR, like no matter what AR it is, you still have accuracy issues, then it's probably actually something with your accuracy. Or maybe finger control or stamina, but typically, yeah, it's definitely not AR if like no matter what AR you're playing with, you are having accuracy issues. But obviously, if your accuracy is perfectly fine unless you have it on AR10, then that is the sign that it's definitely because of the AR. So figuring that out is, I think, actually really important, so that you can isolate the skill that's actually causing the issues, instead of being like, oh, my accuracy is so bad with hard rock, when in reality you just need to get better at AR10. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I think just like exposing yourself a lot to the approach rate is really important, and just like getting used to like what it feels like to play maps with hard rock. So but yeah, like when the AR is too fast for you, probably what's gonna happen is you're just gonna end up hitting everything late. I'm kind of guilty of that right now because, admittedly, Hard Rock AR10 is not my most comfortable to read, and coupling that with talking while playing. But anyway, no excuses, okay? No excuse in this game, right? Okay, I probably don't want to submit this, but yeah, very high quality. The song is very good as well. I'm on my local scores. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, okay. So another thing I want to mention. So the AR, if I turn this off, so F2 or F1 and then 1 and then 2. Just quickly turn off Hard Rock. So the AR of this map is 8.5. This one's AR 9, 8.2. Okay, but if I turn on Hard Rock, so it jumps the difficulty settings, but they all cap at 10. So notice like the OD, here 10, the AR is 10, everything is 10, right? So OD and HP. Okay, so these must have been 7, right? Okay, yeah. So if the difficulty number is 7, then it goes up to 9.8 for these three. Circle size is treated a little differently. I think circle size increases not as much. So CS7 with Hard Rock, let's check. So if a map is CS7, you turn on Hard Rock. Oh, so this is actually a good map to show because CS7, AR7, but if I turn on Hard Rock, CS 9.1 and AR 9.8. But what's important that I'm trying to emphasize is that if you're struggling to get comfortable with AR10, I would probably recommend trying 9.8 first because it is a really big jump from pretty much any map. So this map is AR7 normally. Most maps that are somewhat challenging are AR8 or higher. And turning on Hard Rock will jump everything all the way up to 10, which is very, very tricky to get into AR10 in that sense. So something I would also recommend is double time. So double time does not jump the difficulty settings as much. There's a chart for approach rates that I will link in the description, but basically with double time, okay, so key points of reference, that values that I think are helpful to remember. So AR8 maps, so AR8 with double time becomes 9.67, 9.6 repeating, right? So people call it 9.6 usually. So AR 8.5 is AR 10 with double time, and AR 9 is 10.3 repeating, or people just call it 10.3. So there's 9.6, 10, and 10.3, and then AR 10 with double time is AR 11. So, and that's also why you sometimes see, well, whenever people talk about AR 11, usually it's Hard Rock double time, and that's because Hard Rock jumps it to AR 10, and then double time makes it AR 11. So, yeah, small tidbit about approach rate values, but I think it's helpful to know. Like if you have like an AR, so let's say if you want to get comfortable at AR 10, you want to gradually sort of work your way up. You can learn, AR equals 8.3. Learn some AR 8.3 maps. Like, okay, what am I trying to say? Like gradually work your way up rather than just jumping to like AR 10. Straight up from like AR 9, which is might be what you're typically used to, or like even 9.5. So yeah, double time is a good way to work your way up gradually, and also practice on ARs slightly higher than 10 as well. Like AR 8.6 is like just barely above AR 10, right? 8.7 even more so. So practicing that and then sort of getting more comfortable at ARs like AR 10.1, 10.2 maybe, and then working your way back down to AR 10 can be really, really helpful. So hopefully I didn't lose any of you guys there, but basically practicing ARs other than just AR 10 will, I think, help with a more gradual process of getting more comfortable at it. But yes, this map, for example, I think is a pretty solid map for introductory Hard Rock because it's not even AR 10, first of all, it's AR 9.7, 9.8, AR 7, which becomes 9.8. And the OD is also not 10 either, so very comfortable, and you can just focus on getting used to the faster approach rate first with a map like this. So yes, and also it's a classic song, to be honest. Very simple rhythms, I think it's very, very helpful. Conventional patterns is really, really important with learning anything, I think. So like once you start to get pretty comfortable with Hard Rock, then obviously you can, graduate up to more complex maps. And I know some people might suggest like you can just practice Hard Rock by turning the mod on like any map. It doesn't, like, you don't need to just find whatever simple maps. Like, you just leave it on forever, and then eventually you'll get used to it. And obviously there's some merit to that. If you just only ever play Hard Rock, then eventually you'll get used to it. But as with anything, I don't know, I'm a very strong advocate for working your way up gradually. And, you know, fundamentals are everything. I'm sure you probably know that if you've seen many of my videos, but yeah, definitely finding, okay, also, I'm gonna repeat this again, like, finding songs that you like if you don't like the song, Night of Nights, then don't play it, right? There's, like, infinite maps out there that you can use to practice. But, yes, okay, so, let's see, circle size. What can I say about the smaller circle size? I think some people, okay, actually, this is a bit, not exactly about training circle size, but I've heard some people say that AR10 is kind of uncomfortable for them with bigger circles, but like, because the circles are a bit smaller with Hard Rock, it actually makes it a little more comfortable for them, because there's just a little bit less on the screen. It's not as overwhelming, but yeah, for actually getting more comfortable at small circle size, which the skill for that in UC PhD is called precision. So getting more comfortable with precision, I would say cursor control is very, very important, and just practicing landing in the middle of objects, because effectively when the circle is smaller, okay, so precision effectively is just like landing in the middle of the circles, and all that's happening when the circle size decreases is that you sort of have less room for error. Like, you have to land closer to the center, basically, with smaller CS. So just practicing landing in the middle of objects is very, really important, I'd say, for improving small CS. And that can be practiced outside of Hard Rock too. I mean, for one, there are many no-mod maps that have small CS without necessarily being high AR or high OD. There's a lot of CS7 maps out there that are ranked in, I think, even some higher CS maps these days, but yeah, or check out episode 25, Auto Method. A strong advocate for Auto Method, very, very helpful for cursor stability and lots of different fundamental things that not many people really talk about. But yes, oh, something I used to do. Okay, let me share this with you guys. So if you look at your unstable rate here, if you guys don't know what these numbers mean, I think I explained it in episode 1, and I also explained it in much more detail in OC PhD in the accuracy section. So yeah, check that out. But you can see the unstable rate here is 98, so it is a 2-digit unstable rate. I used to have this collection, like, as I started improving my accuracy. Every time I got under 100 unstable rate on a map, I would add it to a collection called, I moved it to a backup file, but basically I had a collection named 2-digit club. It was like 2-digit club, like this, and I just put, like, every time I got 2-digit unstable rate, I would put it in that collection. And then over time, as I improved my unstable rate, I would start getting like under 70 sometimes, or under 80. It's like in the 70s sometimes. And I was like, it feels a bit odd to group the 99s and the 79s in the same collection. So I made one called 2-digit VIP Club, and that was my 70 to 79 collection. And then I think I made like a VIP plus for 60 to 69. But yeah, anyway, hopefully, I don't know, maybe inspires an idea for some of you guys. But yes, okay, so a couple more maps I want to share with you guys. Also, okay, so on the topic of, so some of you guys might be wondering, like, when I'm learning Hard Rock, should I learn it Hard Rock only, or should I learn it with Hidden? And I think Hidden in itself, so Hard Rock is more like actually changing the difficulty of the map, and Hidden is more like a toggle. So if you typically play the game with Hidden mostly, and you want to start learning Hard Rock, then you just do Hidden Hard Rock. Like, it's not a big deal. It's pretty much, it's effectively the same. Yeah, Hidden, I think Hidden should be seen as a toggle rather than, oh, you have to learn it Hard Rock only first and then turn on Hidden. Like, if you don't even play without Hidden in the first place, then like, don't worry about that. So hopefully that answers any of you guys had a question like that. Okay, so this map in particular, this map's probably pretty good for training Hard Rock. I think looking at the leaderboard, especially if you're very, very new to Hard Rock, finding maps that have like a bunch of hidden Hard Rock SSs already, like 100% scores, on the leaderboard is probably a pretty good starting point, because those maps are a lot more simple and you can focus a lot more on just getting used to Hard Rock in general, rather than worrying about like something that's so complicated that like not even top players can get very comfortable accuracy on. So pushing yourself to get decent runs on those very, very simple maps is a lot, I think, really, really helpful. Okay, another thing is follow points. Okay, so especially for high AR, personally, I think follow points are really, really helpful. So I used to use a skin that had no follow points. I think I talked about it in my episode on skins, but yeah, as you see, this skin obviously has follow points. I can't stream for some reason. That's awesome. But yeah, personally, I think for high AR, follow points are really helpful because they sort of show you, give you the direction of where to pay attention before the circle shows up. And most skins actually have like animated follow points that are kind of delayed, but default follow points are actually really dense. So you can experiment with different follow point densities and have them show up really, really early. And something to experiment with. There's a lot of other things you can mess with for high AR as well. But yes, again, I would recommend checking out the interviews over at OC University. But yeah, I can see this map has so many hidden Hard Rock SSs. So, and even more like, 2x100s, 1x100 scores. So yeah, high quality map. Okay, one more map that I want to show you guys. Just another simple rhythm. Okay, another thing that I can point out is BPM actually affects like how fast the AR feels. So if you go back to the last map, 193 BPM, and so obviously a little faster than this one, which is 168. The amount of notes that appear on the screen at any given time is called note density. If the song is faster, then obviously there's going to be more notes at once. I think AR especially, like when the note density is very, very low, just typically like if the BPM is very low and the AR is high, it can feel just as dense as a slower AR, but faster speed, basically. Or wait, did I say that right? Okay, I don't know. I think you guys sort of get what I mean regarding note density. Oh, stream. Okay, interesting. Just do that to me. All right, fine. All right, whatever. Yeah, I think, okay, so playing maps with somewhat predictable rhythms, especially for getting into AR10, playing maps with predictable rhythms and practicing predicting the rhythms, something that's really important to know, and I'll do an entire video on this, but rhythms sort of repeat themselves a lot, and you can use that to your advantage to predict how patterns go. So you don't have to rely entirely on seeing the object and like being like, oh, I don't know what pattern's coming next, Okay, one thing I want to show you guys. Okay, so usually just before the Ki section or like the hard part, there's like this solo, and usually there's like a stream transition or something like that. So watch this. I'm pretty sure it's in this map. Oh, look at that. Yep, look at that stream. So yeah, it's pretty common. Things are very predictable, and you'll start to notice maps that, especially like similar kinds of maps, like these sorts of anime songs. Oh, another stream. Transitional stream. Yeah, songs follow very, very similar structures, especially within the same genre. So look out for stuff like that. And you should be able to eventually, okay, so it's very hard, obviously. And this is where rhythm sense plays a role in high AR as well, but being able to predict patterns that come up based on how the song is going and how the song is repeating itself. Very, very helpful for getting used to high AR. But yeah, bottom line for Hard Rock, start simple, find songs that you already know. First of all, I think is pretty helpful so that you don't have to worry about learning new maps. Find maps that you already know and songs that you enjoy also, first of all, and try to isolate each of the skills if you can. Like try to, like, if you can find like maps like the one that I showed, Night of Nights, that it's like high AR but not necessarily high OD, and you can focus more on the high AR first and then throw on OD10 that way, or like later on, like higher ODs, stuff like that. But yes, don't give up. Hard Rock is a long struggle, definitely one of the most complicated mods to get into. But yes, hopefully you found this helpful. As usual, the maps that I played in this episode will be linked in the description. And if you enjoyed this episode. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, you know, obvious things like the video, but I usually don't say that in the outro. Definitely, if you have suggestions for future episodes, do leave a comment and tell me what you want to hear, what you want to see an episode about, because I do read all the comments on these episodes. And definitely check out my channel for future episodes, especially if you're watching in the future, because I upload these every single day. And also, Twitch streams, as always, I stream every single day. I would much appreciate having you guys there, hang out with me. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. So see you guys next time.